Power and Performance, brought to you by Morris Lubricants. This channel celebrates everything that is fantastic about British engineering. I'm here with Alex Sharphouse in his workshop today. We are standing next to a project which I would call quite eccentric. What would you describe it as?
It's one thing it's been called. Eccentric, mad, dangerous. Yeah, it's definitely all those.
So this is an aero car in the making, isn't it? Can you explain exactly what an aero car is?
So an aero car is a car with an aeroplane engine. So an engine out of an aeroplane is known as an aero engine, and you put it into a car and this is what you get. So we started the project by initially I got the engine, which is a Rolls-Royce Griffon. It's mainly all alloy block, so it's incredibly light. I mean, the engine's obviously...
You're saying that's light?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the size
huge.
of that. What would you say that weighs?
I'm going to say 2.5 tonne.
No, it's not a tonne.
Not a tonne?
No, it's 960.
No way.
So that just shows the clever engineering in it. It's all very, very good aluminium alloys all the way through it. And the design on keeping it short with the... it's a V12. They have fork rods and con rods, so that kept the length of it down. Supercharged, two-stage supercharged, producing a massive amount of horsepower for the size of it. But as performance-wise, I mean, they were fantastic.
And so, are these quite hard to get hold of? I'm guessing yes?
Yeah, they're not very common. I was really fortunate to come across this, really, but it didn't look anything like this. It was a completely derelict engine. It sat outside for years and years. It was on a plane that had been parked up and sat outside for a number of years until it was broken up, and the engine survived. And we got it in a very, very poor state, really, not knowing anything about how to do one of these up. I just thought it was an interesting thing to do and was looking for one.
Can you talk me through some of the differences between, you know, an engine that's built for, you know, flying at altitude as such and one that's at ground level? Like, how do they work in a different way?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of difference. Like I say, between the ones that were for ground level and were for aero, different weights of material, so there's a lot more cast iron in a ground running engine. But with the supercharger on them, that's basically forcing air into it under pressure, so similar to a turboed engine, but it's mechanically driven. So what they did to cope with the altitude is, obviously you go higher up, the air gets thinner. The supercharge has a very clever two-stage gearbox on it, which, I mean, revolutionary, really, automatically changed using oil pressure from its own engine to change gear on a clutch, spinning the supercharger faster, keeping the boost pressure at the same as the air got thinner. So they were super clever. It can run any way up, so it doesn't matter if we have an accident. We can still. Yeah,
we won't plan one of those, but you know.
Keep coming. It's dry sumped, so that again means that its oil is in a tank and it's pumped to the engine, round the engine, scavenged from the engine back to the tank. Which is another aeroplane technology, really, for that. So they were seriously clever. When you take one of these to bits, you don't realise how good the engineering and the clever bits they've done it. You just keep coming across it. And when I had it stripped down, one of my brother-in-laws came who's had a lot to do with race car engines, and he was like, "Oh my God, look at the state, look at this is fantastic, look at the cam, look at the drive, look at everything. It's built like a race engine." It's like, no, this was built to win a war. All race engines copied these because these were the best. This is the best thing that we could have come up with, and they were absolutely fantastic. They proved it.
So you took it apart. What was going on inside? That's not a good look.
No, it was grim. So it was completely seized up. It'd been full of water. It was.
No.
So you can see everything on it. It's all nuts and studs, all seized solid. So then you get the reaction between the steel and aluminium corrosion. So that was quite a lot in places, and inside it, quite a lot of damage really to that. You get the sort of electrolysis, really, we call it, between where two dissimilar metals come together and cause that. So actually getting it apart was quite a problem because you can't get the studs and the bolts out. Then to pull the cylinder heads off and the blocks out of it, it's seized on. You can't actually get it in bits. So you kind of had to take it to bits from inside and pull it to bits with sort of like a piston stuck in here and a con rod hanging out of there, try not to break it.
Yeah, is that quite delicate? Because although it's a huge
you could easily break it.
And it looks very sort of, durable, but actually, especially when you don't really know what you're going to find inside, you don't want to yank it and force anything.
And you don't really know what you're doing. You don't know if you're doing it the right way. I mean, we're lucky to find a few people who were willing to talk to us and help us and point us in the right direction. But you're still a bit like anything. When you've done one, you'd do another.
You take it off and you kind of got one eye open and one eye shut before you find out what you're going to be discovering.
And it's a V engine, so it's on a bank. So if you had to pull this whole cylinder block off, if you're trying to pull it off, it's at the angle that it's at there. So we put it in, we made a chassis to hold the engine in, like an engine frame on a rotator. Yeah. So we could turn the frame so the block was pointing vertically to be able to lift it off. So you've got it hanging from over a crane, you've got a bit of weight on it, then we made pullers and we were in with all sorts of packers and little jacks, and we eventually managed to pull it apart, and we warming it up and soaking it with fuel for a few weeks and leaving it, and it was a very slow process to strip it down without damaging it. And then you get to the point of starting to clean it up, and then you decide what you need, what's damaged, what's worn out.
Any nasty discoveries?
The bores inside were really poor, so we ended up getting a new set of liners for it. They were beyond repair, really. If you could machine them out, which is one thing we could do, but then you need oversized pistons, so you can't get oversized pistons for them, so we had to have them made. So we ended up finding a good second-hand set of liners for it. The crank was really good, and then we just slowly built it back up, really. And any parts we needed, we either had to make or source from various places. There is a few people have got a little bit of old stock kicking around. The supercharge impeller was rotted away. It's an aluminium impeller, and that spins around literally like 10,000 RPM. So that has to be really, really right. It's balanced. That had rotted away because it'd been sat with water in one place, and I think a squirrel had been living in there. There was nuts and leaves. And it crawled.
You've stolen the winter supply there.
Exactly. So we managed to find the new impeller, and we slowly built it back up to a point of when we could fire it up and test run it, which was quite exciting.
Yeah, tell me more about that. So the day you got it started up, what was that like? How did it happen?
It was an exciting day, really. It'd been the moment everyone had been waiting to see.
How long for as well?
2 years.
2 years? 2 years.
There is a lot of bits in that engine, I can assure you.
Yeah.
The only good thing about it was it came at the right time in COVID, so it was like that. This was my haven to work on this and lock me in. And there is thousands and thousands of parts. I think it's 14,000 parts in it or something.
14,000?
Yeah, if you count everything, it's ridiculous.
Gosh, it's a good thing you didn't lose any.
Exactly. So, so we come to firing it up. So the rotating frame that we had it in to work on, we made it strong enough so we could run it in that. So then, obviously, the engine needs quite a lot of ancillaries. As we said before, it has no oil in the sump, so we needed an oil tank. So we built a trolley with all its ancillaries on, with an oil tank, a fuel tank, batteries, switch gear to operate the starter motor, all the bits and pieces to do that. A primer pump on it, so we pump oil round the engine first with an electric pump to make sure it's got lubrication to all its parts before you start it up. But amazingly, we did all this, and we'd had it all, checked it all, tested it all, and literally we put fuel in it, primed it, and it turned over twice and fired.
Twice, and that was it?
And it fired and then stopped, and then there was a bit of messing around. We couldn't quite get the priming fuel lines to get enough fuel in to keep it going till the main fuel pump underneath gets enough fuel in it to run through. So we kept having a few stops and starts, but once it got fuel through to itself and it had bled itself, it was away. And it's a scary thing.
Yeah, is this the sort of thing where you think I should have had ear defenders on or something like that?
Proper makes you it's like someone firing shotgun off every time it fires.
Amazing.
You got to a point.
Does it go boom, 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 boom?
Yeah, it spits fire, it blows flames, it bangs and pops. It's impressive, and we first run it, there was quite a lot to set up and tune in on it and get the fueling right, and we had quite a few, not issues, but things to work out. So the more we got it right, the better we got it to run, to the point of we took it out of here and ran it outside, and we put a coolant tank on it, and we could run it for longer then, and got it set up. even though you know how noisy it is when you've run it once or twice and you're fiddling around with it and you do something different, you stop it and you make some adjustments and you think, oh, I'll fire it up again and run it. And sometimes it fires instantaneously. It makes you jump. It's like, oh, my God.
Were you paying attention? Yes, I was.
So I do, the day of being able to sit behind the wheel and actually drive it somewhere, I don't know whether I'm excited or scared stiff, but it'll be a day.
I think a balance of both would probably be quite wise as well, you know, approach with caution, but also enjoy it.
Absolutely. So that was the firing up of it. But we've had to do quite a lot to it for what we wanted to do with it, which was always the idea of doing one of these engine up is a thing in itself. It's a piece of British history. It represents Great Britain and why we are here today, which is massive for me. That really does it for me. But the thought of just being able to fire it up wasn't really enough. Thought, well, I don't ever think...
For a lot of people, that would be the full stop in the story, wouldn't it? But
it could have been, yeah.
You like a challenge.
It fired up, it run. It's like, yeah, but, you know, do we get an aeroplane? Do we put it in full? That's probably the thing. But I think we need to, you know, put this in a car.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.